Welcome back to Today. Plenty of reaction this morning. You can just look on the front of any newspaper today to the comments by Sonia Kruger on the Today Show here yesterday on the Mixed Grill when she called for an end to Muslim immigration into Australia. Here's what she had to say here on the show. Have a listen.
Personally, I would like to see it stop now for Australia because I want to feel safe, as all of our citizens do, when they go out to celebrate Australia Day. And I'd like to see freedom of speech. And Lisa, I think, we're seeing journalists
I'd like to see freedom
threatened.
of religion as well as freedom of speech. They both go hand in hand.
But we're not saying there's no freedom of religion.
Well, if we're
talking about immigration, David.
Now, firstly, before we climb into this, let me say this. Sonia is not racist. She is a compassionate, intelligent and thoughtful person. She spoke yesterday with brutal honesty on her emotions as a mother. I don't agree with Sonia's argument. Plenty of people don't, plenty of people do, but I respect Sonia's right to voice her opinion. And it is worth pointing out, as I said, there was a lot of support for Sonia yesterday, but she is right now, yesterday and today, and probably for the next few days, maybe weeks, copping a mountain of criticism. It is time for the Mixed Grill. This morning we have Shelley Horton and Peter Stefanovic. Shelley, first of all, your take on the reaction. Overreaction? What do you think?
First of all, I am so empathetic to Sonia. She's not a racist, and I don't think that's even... And anyone who's saying that doesn't know her and hasn't watched her on TV for 20 years. I think I have so much empathy because I'm just as afraid as she is. That's what ISIS has done. We're afraid. And a lot of the comments have been incredibly hurtful to her, but a lot of people are also saying they support her and that she's brave to be saying out loud what they're too afraid to say. I can't agree with her, so I don't think that banning Muslim immigration is the answer. I think we need to crack down on ISIS and radicalisation of Muslims. I can't say I've got a lot of Muslim friends, I don't, but I have been contacted by a few Muslim followers on Twitter and social media, and they are just as concerned about ISIS, and they seem so downtrodden and upset that Australia's turning against them. And I think that's the thing that I'm worried about, is I don't want to live in a Pauline Hanson Australia. I want to live in the Australia when a Muslim woman was verbally abused on a train, the I'll ride with you movement started. I want that Australia. I want us to embrace the fact that we are multicultural, but I'm afraid that it's just the fear that is making people react the way they are.
The reaction was enormous yesterday and it rolls on again today. Pete, what do you take from that reaction? What does that say to you?
What I hope is that it doesn't stop people from having an opinion because they're too scared of the reaction. I think what is good about it is that people are talking about it because it is an issue that a lot of people have an opinion on in Australia. Like you said, Sylvia, she's not a racist, she's a nice person, I've known her for a little while. Well, I don't agree with her comments either because most people know that I come from a family of immigrants. That's how I got here. And I've had a lot to do with Muslims over the years, and the vast majority of them are peace-loving people, and unfortunately it's that small majority that has given them all, a rather nasty name. And, I think Sonia's comments probably come from the fact that, there will be an attack in Australia at some point down the track. There's no doubt about that. But police are doing a terrific job to stop it. But as you mentioned there, ISIS is creating fear, and that is exactly what they want. They want Sonia to say those kinds of things.
I think part of the fear is we don't have a set plan of how we can stop it because it does seem so random. And you look at Nice and he was radicalised very quickly, but he wasn't a practising Muslim. Like, he was drinking and gambling and smoking weed, so he doesn't represent Muslims at all.
The same with the Paris terrorists too. They were all, on the joints and drinking too. So.
But I suppose part of the argument is that language is very crucial. It is so important around this issue, particularly when we have a national platform. And I suppose that's what a lot of people are upset about. But we live in a beautiful democratic society, a diverse society where freedom of speech is valued and celebrated, and let's hope that we can continue that and that people can voice their opinions without fear of too much judgment or perhaps even abuse. But let's move on now, and there has been a growing number of women having children later in life. We know that. This is according to a new report. Their gap between, women in their 40s and women in their teenage years having children is growing to the point where women in their 40s are now outnumbering women in their teens or girls in their teens having children. What do we take from that?
I have absolutely no problem with that. I think women in their 40s are more capable of raising a child, of financially supporting it, and they've made a choice to establish themselves in their career before they take time off to have a child. I think it's incredibly sensible. Yes, there are some health concerns as an older mother, but I think that outweighs having a kid when you're 16.
Well, science has made it more available too, hasn't it?
Yeah, not much of a mixed grill today because I'm disagreeing with what you say. But what I take from that is that that a lot of women are they're career focused and quite rightly they're a lot more empowered these days to be able to follow that route and. And good luck to them,
I just want science to expand and just have men getting pregnant and then we'll just even it all out.
And here's some good news. Pippa Middleton is engaged, so there could be the pitter-patter of more Middleton little baby feet soon. Stay tuned. Thank you, guys. Have a great day. Up next, remembering our forgotten heroes coming up.